Greetings and welcome to Theology, Geek, Fitness. I'm Jonathan Pritchett, and in this video I'm going to talk about handles for resistance bands. I'm going to talk about bars for resistance bands, and I'm going to talk about floor plates for resistance bands. So, the first thing I need to state at the beginning of the video is you don't need any of this stuff to get a great workout from resistance bands. All you need to get a great workout, all you need to get a good workout from resistance bands is resistance bands. All you need to get a great workout with more variety is resistance bands and a door anchor, or like a combined indoor-outdoor anchor, or an anchor strap, or some kind of solution that you can not just use a door, but you can use other things. I recommend the Understone's combined indoor-outdoor anchor. But with that door anchor and just resistance bands, you can get phenomenal workouts. Have videos here that demonstrate 111 different exercises covering all the major muscle groups of the body that you can do with just resistance bands and an anchor. So definitely need an anchor. Drawstring backpack or bag or something to put the bands in to, have less clutter, or somewhere to hang them. I use like a coat rack that you mount to the wall to hang mine at home. But, keep your workout stuff tidy. But really, that's all you need. But these kinds of things are nice to have. So the first thing I want to talk about is these Garage-Fit handles. I like these handles, and they're, you can find them on Amazon. Sometimes they come with a set of bands. Sometimes you can just buy them individually. The prices fluctuate, but $25 or so will get you these. And I highly recommend them. They're super easy to use, too. You just take a band, hook it in there, and you're ready to go. That's it. It's quick, easy, painless, ready to go. They're solid, like a tank. You're not going to do anything to hurt them. They'll last forever. They're just metal hooks. And a lot of people sometimes will use them for neutral grip pull-ups. They'll just hook them into a pull-up bar and use them for that as well. Whatever, they come in handy. I love them. They're great. Use them for a variety of exercises. I don't use any attachments for most of the exercises I do, but I do use them for some. I do like to use these kind of hook handles for my biceps curls. I like to use them when I'm doing a back fly. Lateral raises, sometimes instead of just grabbing the band, I'll just hook the band through and do that. They're great. There's other handles on the market. One of the popular ones is the Clinch fitness handle. This thing is plastic, but it is built, it is machined very well. It is just solid. It can withstand several hundred pounds worth of resistance like the others. It's going to last forever. It's indestructible. And it gives you more ways to hook the band. So you can hook the band like that for various exercises. You can hook a band like that for various exercises, obviously. Or you can even go straight through the center. Though, when you hook the band like that, going through the middle, not a lot of bands are the bigger bands are going to fit through that. Like this purple one is testing the limits of whether or not it's going to fall out. So with that, probably that black band size. Let's see if I got it here. Yeah. This is probably the largest size you want to go through on that. It's like a medium-sized band through the center. But when you get to the green size band or higher, or an extra heavy if you're using Understone bands, I'm not demonstrating with my Understone bands in this video because these are the kind of color schemes you're going to find for most resistance band sets, though I do recommend Understone over all of these. That's about as good as you're going to get with anchoring the band to the handle, because it's never going to fit here. It sticks out too much. And even with hooking it like that, you're testing the limits, especially on the back side, because on the back side you can see that it is, you know, it's right there. And so you can probably get away with it if you're careful, but typically that purple band is about the safest size band. Whereas, so you have anchoring options, and I do like it because you can grip it like this if you're doing tricep exercises like that, or behind your head, you know. You can grip it with the band like this for single arm exercises that you're pulling, or, you know, all sorts of different features with this. And like I said, it's well made. But whereas that one's going to cap out at the green band around here, and you're pushing it if you put it through these hooks. This, no problem, hooks in there fine. This, no problem, hooks in there just fine. And bands, they make bands. An orange band I have is even thick, you know, wider than this, and they have ones wider than that. No problem whatsoever. If you need that size band or higher, this can accommodate all of them. Like I said, they're both well made. You can't break them. This one gives you a little bit more options and ways to grip it, you know. Grip it like that, grip it like that, grip it like that, whatever. This is just pretty much straightforward. Sometimes get your hand in there and do it like that if you need to, but it's not very comfortable compared to this. But I have to say, between these two, if I'm being honest, if I was, I like the fact that I have both, and of course, both of these handles put together is less than $60, and if your resistance training is your main thing, that's not a lot of money. They have handles that start at higher than $60 out there, or some of them. I saw one pair that's kind of like this, except they have a straight bar right underneath the grip to hook the band on instead of a deep hook like this. I think those start around $55, plus they charge for shipping on Amazon. So they have handles. Other handles have different slings on the sides or hooks on both sides, kind of like the X3 bar, except for it's just a single hand grip handle with little hooks like the X3 bar has. And, handles like that, I have never used any of them. I've never seen a need in my training for them. I have no idea if they're way better or not. And like I said, I don't care if they're a little bit more cumbersome to set up than just hooking it in this or hooking it around these or whatever you're doing, because, getting ready for the next exercise with resistance bands is a lot better than putting up dumbbells and putting up weight plates and all of that stuff that you have to do before your next set on a different machine or a different bench or whatever. So none of that stuff is really a hassle to me compared to what you were doing in a gym or what I was doing in a gym, having to re-rack weights and plates and stuff. So I don't really care about that. If it's like, this is so much easier, this is so much quicker. We're splitting hairs here when none of this stuff weighs anything, so it's not a hassle. But that said, I don't know if it makes that much of a difference on all of these other higher priced items. Maybe I'll get some sent to me, or maybe I'll bite the bullet and spend the money on them or not. So far I haven't needed to, and I get along just fine in my resistance band training. So between a pair of these or a pair of the Sugar.Fit, I say if you're only going to get one, go with these. Nothing against clinch. These are a great product, but as far as even though this is probably not as versatile as this can accommodate heavier and heavier bands without any issues, whereas you're going to cap this thing out. So that may be a factor for you or not. But I like to have both. I use both, but I think I do use both. I don't use these for all of the exercises I do, and I typically use these more than these anyway. This is just painless, hook it in, go. And I already have them out. But I do use these on occasion, especially since I bought them and I spent money on them, and I don't really want to sell them for a loss because they do come in handy. But if I had to go with one, just go with the Sugar.Fit. Now this fitness gear bar was the first bar that I ever got for resistance bands. And I used it for resistance tubes because I had a little set of those, and I used it for the resistance bands when I first got into training, because everyone's seen the ads for the, if you've looked at resistance band at all, you've seen the X3 bar. It's got the little hooks in it. It's kind of it's a much shorter bar than this, but it's a very popular system. I was never going to spend $550 or whatever they want for that plate and the bar and 4 bands. That's ridiculous. No offense to that. Didn't seem necessary. So I got this, and I thought that this worked out just fine for my needs. But it's $20 at Dick's, and it holds up well. I have this blue band here you've seen. I have a band larger than this at home. It's orange, and then I don't have any bands higher than that because I'm not as strong as some of these other people using those super duper big bands, but you know, I'll get there one day, I suppose. But this bar has handled this band just fine. It's never felt like it's pushing too much or wanting to bend or anything. So you just get it on there. You know, setting up with these kind of things is a little bit of a cumbersome hassle, but not that bad. But you just take it, get it through there, put it underneath your shoulder blades, and you're ready to go for your presses. The thing that I don't like about this bar, though, is with these molded bands, or even some of the layered bands that aren't kind of like those Clinch or Quantum or Elite FTS type bands, the bands that have slicker surfaces will slide around on this bar. And that's kind of a pain to resituate yourself every set or whatever. But, you know, it's a solid bar. No problem with the tension on it. It's kind of like those Instar bars you see on Amazon, and the higher price one breaks down in the middle like this one does. This one's just fine. I don't know what this is rated to be able to push, but it's fine. It's held up fine with, like I said, with a band even bigger than this. So $20 at Dick's. If you need a first bar to see if you want to start incorporating bars into your resistance band training, just order it from dicksportinggoods.com or whatever, and go by their store if you have one in your town, and pick this up and see if using a bar works for you. Like I said, I'm never going to buy an X3 bar. I don't even like it because it's short. And the hooks, I don't really care about that. I don't mind, like I said, setting things up when you're used to racking weights and stuff like that. It's just, I don't care if it saves me half a second or, you know, even 10 seconds to set up compared to using bars like this. Who cares? So they have bars that have slings on each side by certain companies that are coming out now. Other bars have hooks that you can attach to it. They didn't make it to where it's directly on the bar because they didn't want to get a copyright infringement, but they sell hooks that will attach themselves to the bar, so it's like an X3 bar. This is just a bar. This is my favorite bar. I use this now more than the other one, primarily because this bar has a grippier surface. So even when I'm using slick bands like my Undersun band or these Garage Fit bands, or when I'm using my grippier clinch bands, they don't slide around as much on this thing. This thing is a little bit shorter, which is 34 inches compared to that one that's 36, but it doesn't really bother, or maybe that's 38 inches, I don't know. That doesn't bother me at all. You still get great tension. I don't mind hooking the bands directly on the bar, you know. Just get it like that, you know. The other way but this is a lot less slick. It's more grippy. So I like that. The other way that you can hook a band to just a bar like this with, you know, with no hooks or whatever. Sorry, I've got a mess down here. Go figure. Is you'll see people take the band like this, get it like that, and then pull that through the other side, and then you can just kind of, get the tension out of it. I like to, you know, if I'm standing up, I'll just anchor it and position it like that. So, you've got it ready to go. And like I said, that's not much of a hassle to me. I like it. I like this bar. It's grippier for these on the surface. So once I'm locked into place, have it adjusted, it works great. So I use this mainly for chest press and deadlifts. But I'll also sometimes use it for biceps curls, or I'll use it for the calf raises, definitely. And this Keith Boutwell bar from the Band's Garage, you can get it for free, plus I think you pay shipping if you sign up for the Band's Garage, which is $29 a month. Gives you access to the pay side of his website and tons of workout videos and stuff in there. He does resistance band training, mixes in some kettlebells and dumbbells and stuff, and does a lot of isometric stuff. So that's pretty cool. Or you can buy it for $79. It's got a slick finish. You got multiple colors for the finish, but it's very grippy on the bands. And then he's got this bar. It says thicker for $89. It's got a thicker grip. So you can see the difference there. This one, heavier bar, thicker than this one here. This one's I don't know the diameter of it, but anyway, this one's a thicker grip. So I love these bars. Definitely comes in handy. Now I still do single arm incline chest presses and decline, do wraparound chest presses with just, you can just clip in the handles or whatever. Handles come in great for flies or whatever. But I like to mix it up. I've said on my channel, I'm not a minimalist, and I'm not, this type of person that's going to do the same things over and over again. So I like to change it up. So I like to have the options. But definitely for deadlifts, I like to do that. I used to just grip the bands, but once you start using heavier and heavier bands, even with gloves, it starts to become a hassle. So I started using the grips. But I just like using a bar better. I guess it just reminds me of lifting weights in the gym. Not that the point of band training is to imitate everything that you ever did in the gym, even though it can really well. But I do like to use the bar for the deadlifts. Which brings me to plates. Plates are harder and harder to come by because these parts right now are because of COVID and all of that, a little bit scarce right now. That'll probably turn around in a few months or whatever. But plates are kind of expensive. The lowest cost plate I've seen that's quality plate that you want to get is going to be the Sugar.Fit from Jeremy Cottle, I believe is his name, and he sells them for $120. The higher end plates from places like Floyd Reed plates, they go for over $200 and something. This one I got also from the Band's Garage, but I don't think he's selling plates anymore. I think he's sold out of what he had, and just, he's still making bars, but for the time being, I understand he's not going to be making plates anymore. But, it's got the groove in here. It's similar to the X3 plate, but it's rounded here. It's easier on your bands because there's a lot of discussions that X3 plate shreds your bands when it comes around here, whereas this is curved off. Very nice. Heavy, it's solid. This will last forever. You can't do anything to this to hurt it. I could probably throw it, I'm on the 13th floor, I could probably throw it out here and I'd be shocked if it even got so much as a ding in it. It's just that solid. Do you need a plate? Most like bars and handles. No, you don't, to get a great workout. But I will say this, once you start getting into heavier bands, if like deadlift is something you're dead set to do in your workouts, and I like to do deadlifts, once you get past a band like this, like a green band, once you get past this band, gripping these with your hands is already making you want handles or a bar, but you're going to see that your ankles bend inward when you start using heavier resistance, or a green band that you stack with other bands just to get more tension. Your ankles will start folding in, and that is no good for your ankles. You don't want that to happen. That's horrible. You'll regret it, because you can cause serious injury to your ankle, or wear down those joints over time and regret it, even if you don't feel it immediately. So definitely, if you're going to be doing deadlifts, you need a plate. And this plate is 10 by 18 inches. I've seen them various sizes. I wear a size 11 shoes, so my foot does hang off a bit on both sides. But, you know, having my toes off doesn't really matter because if I'm doing deadlifts and just driving through the hill, like with squats or whatever. So I'm usually fine. But they have some that go out to 12 inches and then, you know, even as high as, I don't know, 25, 26 inches out, maybe even longer now. I know Floyd Reed has his Bigfoot plate and his surfboard plate, and I don't know the specs on that. But some of those plates, they get up into $250, $350. And especially right now where the parts are scarce. Like I said, the lowest one right now is a Sugar.Fit for $120. It's a fine plate from everything I've read about it. I've never used it. This is the only plate I've ever used, but I'm so glad I have a plate because I love to do deadlifts, and this is a must-have unless you just want to get stuck with lighter bands and increase your volume of reps because you don't want to destroy your ankles. You need a plate if you're going to start getting into heavier and heavier band lifts with the thicker bands. So this is a must-have, and I love using it with the bar. But I also like to use it for, you know, squats, because you're not having to use your feet to anchor, and because of the width of the plate, might be a little bit longer, longer than the width of your stance. It ekes out a little bit more tension out of the band, which is always a plus. So it's great for that. Great for calf raises. Great for reverse lunges, things like that. I love having a plate. I don't use it for much other than I mostly just use it for deadlifts and for the calf raises. And one of the reasons why I love it for the calf raises is because if you notice from my leg video, unanchored, you know, typically with the band you have to work, there's one of two ways. You can anchor it under the door, or you can just do one leg at a time by anchoring it under one foot and doing single leg calf raises. But with this, you can use the bar, you can get a lot of tension on it, and you want to make sure you put your toes in the middle, because if you're on the edge, you might flip the bar out or the plate out from under you. But if you get in to where you're doing your raises with your toes here in the center, it'll hold the plate down with the band under it. You can get a lot of tension using that in a bar for your calf raises. So calf raises and deadlifts, definitely what I use this all the time for. And is it worth the money? Yes, if you're going to be doing deadlifts as a staple of your workouts. That's not like you have to do deadlifts every leg day, but I mean, it is one of the big three, right? Along with the squat and the bench press. So if you're going to be doing deadlifts and you don't want to stick to high volume to spare your ankles, you want to do low volume reps on heavy bands, got to have a plate. So definitely recommend it. Right now, I would recommend getting the Sugar.Fit plate because it's only $120. All the other plates, if they're in stock, are super overpriced right now. And everything I know about the Sugar.Fit plate, even though I've never used it, I considered buying it, but I got this from Keith as well. Went ahead and got everything that he had, along with a membership to the band's garage. And so it's great. Love having a plate. It's a definite. So to conclude this video, do you need to spend a ton of money on accessories like plates, bars, and handles to get a great workout from resistance bands? No, you don't. But to maximize your deadlifts and probably your calf raises, I highly recommend the plate and the bar. And then if you like to do standard like barbell presses and stuff like that, whether you're on a bench or just standing straight doing it as a chest press, or, you know, seated, or however you want to do your presses, if you like that sort of thing, definitely get a bar. And like I said, your entry point on that, you can go get a bar from Dick's for $20. Or you can join the band's garage and pay shipping for this and then get a whole lot of workout content. Or you can just buy this bar for $79. He'll ship it to you. Or the thicker grip bar for $89. And then there's a lot of other ridiculously overpriced options out there on the market. But definitely for like your chest presses and then of course your deadlifts, definitely want to get a bar and a plate if those are important to you. As far as handles go, can't go wrong with either, but as I discussed earlier, probably a little bit more options. This one can accommodate heavier bands and just quick, painless hook in. They're both great, but if you only could get one, get one. But why not support the company and get both? And maybe you'll find more use out of all of these types of things than I do. You know, I don't really see the need to use a handle for every exercise or some kind of attachment. So there you go. Definitely a floor plate for deadlifts, unless you want to get stuck using lighter bands and higher volume. Definitely want to get a bar for that as well. It's more fun than using a plate and handles, at least in my opinion. It's nice to have the handles for certain exercises, curls, flies, things like that. It's great to have a bar for the deadlifts and for chest presses. So there you go. Don't need any of it, but they're nice to have. They're a lot of fun. Price ranges are all over the place, and sorry, I have not used a whole lot of different stuff. I look at the cost of what they want for those, you know, and I compare it to, well, I got these for $25 plus, or these I got for like $30, but I also got bands with it. And so my experience with handles, do I want to pay $100 and something for handles, or is it no? You know, not when these do just fine. So bars, same thing. This is the highest priced bar that I would ever spend money on, $80. Do I need a 300-pound resistance band or a $300 resistance band bar with all these weird, crazy slings or hooks that attach? No, I don't. Now, I don't know what I'm missing, so I can't say for sure that I wouldn't just absolutely love it. But unless my Patreon money starts, you know, coming in a lot more than it is now, and people are screaming for me to review it, I'm not, or they send it to me, I'm not spending that kind of money on that stuff, because my phenomenological experience of using a bar with resistance bands, this is just fine. I see no need for anything other than this. I do like this better than the $20 bar, mainly because it's grippier surface and my band's not sliding on it quite as much. So, but other than that, no. Good enough here. And I like to use bars for the deadlifts and for the chest presses and things. So, and even throw in some biceps curls with the bar or overhead press, but usually just grab the band and go. So there you go. Hope you found this video helpful. If you liked the video, click like. If you didn't like it, click the dislike button. Don't care either way. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Subscribe to the channel even if you don't like the channel, just to give me a sub and then never watch anything I upload. I'd still appreciate that as well, you know, just because you're in a charitable mood. But otherwise, if you like these videos, subscribe, hit the notification so you know when the next video comes out. And if you want to help support what we do so that I can review overpriced resistance band attachments and accessories, consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/theologygeekfitness, because I will be reinvesting all of that money back into the channel. And for things that I don't care about that I have to review because people have asked for it, or things that I thought I might like but I end up not liking, I'm going to give to patrons. So if someone says, hey, go check out that Body Boss 2.0 contraption, and I go buy it, review it, whether I love it or don't like it, the chances are I'm going to not incorporate it and add to the plentiful amount of gear that I already have. So I'm just going to give that stuff to patrons. So anyway, I appreciate you watching. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.